I am not going to do that. I was on the break, I was speaking to Dr. Peggy Malone, who's our first guest, and we were talking about playing Xbox 360 Connect that my son has with the big screen TV. I was doing this. Not sure how that looks on TV. I am going to do it. I don't mind. It is an active game, but a game that you actually have to warm up and be careful in because you do get a little bit sore after playing that. Enough about me. Let's get to Dr. Peggy Malone. A few weeks ago we were on, Peggy, and we were talking about snow shoveling and the perils involved in snow shoveling and how you can hurt your back. This time we're talking about slips and falls, which in relation to snow shoveling, it's kind of the same. If you're walking outside and you're not too sure on your feet, things can go terribly wrong. Talk to me a little bit about slips and falls and who in particular in our community should be most concerned with that.
Okay, well, the people we're most concerned about are older adults, so 65 years and older, just because they're more likely to have a fall. When you look at the statistics, 1 in 3 Canadians who are older than 65, and this is for North Americans as well, but okay, we're Canadians, we'll talk about us. Hey. 1 in 3 Canadians over the age of 65 will have a fall every year, and that's often with serious consequences like wrist fractures, hip fractures, pelvis fractures, and in very dire cases, even death. So okay, it's something that absolutely we need to talk about, and if you want to make sure that you're safe or you're caring for an older adult, parent or a grandparent, these tips that we're going to talk about today are very relevant. Okay. Now, a lot of these falls happen in and around the house because that's where a lot of the time the people are spending there, just performing regular chores, cleaning the kitchen, getting something off a top shelf. So the majority of them really probably are preventable. Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about how they might be preventable, what some things that we can think about, and how to change the way we do things around the house to be safe. Okay, well, 2 main factors involved in falls. First one is your environment, so that would be in and around the house. So around the house you want to get rid of clutter. So if that means things on the stairway, stuff that you're maybe going to trip on, rugs that might be a little bit loose that you might trip on those, you want to get rid of those. Okay. When you're walking up and down the stairs, having 2 railings is going to help you to be more stable on the stairs, making sure you can see, especially if you're carrying something when you're on the stairs, and if you don't have to do that, don't do it. Making sure that if you have a pet, a lot of us have pets for companionship, yep, and they're very affectionate, and I have 2 cats that get tangled up in my legs often, and it's really something to think about because you don't know where they're going to be. They can trip you up. So if you have a dog or a cat, put a bell on their collar, or just make sure that you make note of when you go to move or when you go to stand up, take a look around and see where they are. If they're sleeping in a weird spot or if they're just running towards you, they can trip you up. Now the problem, I guess, when I was a kid I had to walk a mile to go to the bathroom, but I had that mile memorized. I knew exactly where I was going without even turning any lights on. The problem was if there was something in the way. So that's exactly what you're talking about. If you've got a box that isn't normally in the hallway and you're getting up in the evening to go to the little boy's room, yep, that can cause some serious trouble, especially if you're living alone and it's absolutely the middle of the night. Supportive shoes, I guess, even in the house, footwear in general. Talk yes, to me a little bit about what kind of things people should be wearing in their house if they're prone to slips and falls. Well, especially for older adults that may, and we can talk about this a little bit more when we talk about physical health, but may have a susceptibility to having foot conditions. So having a more supportive shoe on their feet will help them to be more stable when they're walking, especially if they have bunions or calluses or concerns because of diabetes or ingrown toenails or something like that. Non-slip soles will be obviously going to put you in a place where you're less likely to slip as well. Okay. And with the shoes, you need a place when you come in with your outdoor boots on, you need a place to sit down. Have chairs handy. Is a good tip that you have on your website so that you can sit and actually put your shoes on and not lean forward and fall and yes, do whatever to yourself. Sit down to take your shoes off, sit down to put your shoes on. Okay, and then quickly, shelving. Have the items that you use every day in an accessible shelf instead yes, of putting it way up top so you have to get on a chair. Big reason why people fall is because they're on a stool or a chair reaching for something up high. Okay. So all of your everyday stuff should be accessible. If you need help, get help. Don't stand on a stool or a chair. Okay. When we come back, we'll speak a little bit more about the environment around your house and your physical health as well, and how that'll prevent slips and falls. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Mike Vecchio with Dr. Peggy Malone, speaking a little bit about slips and falls and how to prevent them. Physical health plays a big role in preventing slips and falls, Peggy, as well. One of the biggest ones, as I near 40,
Sometimes I'm holding the page a little further away, a little closer. Reading glasses. A lot of people my age now are wearing reading glasses and will wear those around the house. Talk to me about the dangers while wearing reading glasses and walking at the same time.
Okay. Well, number one, your eyes and your ears are your first warning system in terms of being able to look at your environment, make sure you're safe so you're not going to fall. So you need to make sure your eyes are checked every year, every couple of years, and same thing with your ears. In terms of reading glasses, very common that we'll be sitting with our reading glasses on reading, and then we set our book down and we get up to go and walk. Because of the way that the reading glasses are designed, they can be very disorienting when you go up and walk with them on, so which can cause a fall. So you want to make sure that if you have reading glasses on, take them off before you do any movement, before you stand up, before you take a step, because that's something that can lead to a fall.
They're called reading glasses for a reason.
That's right.
Not walking or looking around for other things glasses.
That's right.
Prescription medication.
Yes.
A lot of us are on it for different reasons. Sometimes we're on the right dose, sometimes we're on the wrong dose, which can cause trouble. Talk to me a little bit about that and how important it is to talk to your doctor.
Okay.
With that,
yeah,
that
definitely.
age.
Well, medications, even if it is the right medication, it can still have side effects that can cause things like dizziness or disorientation or lack of judgment, all of which can cause a fall. If you have several different kinds of medications, the way that they interact can cause those symptoms. And if you have several different kinds of medications plus you take supplements of some kind, all of that can interact and cause some trouble, which is why you want to make sure, and I stress this to everybody, make sure you know what you're taking, make sure you know what it's for, make sure you know what it does, make sure you know what the side effects are. All of those things help you to take control of your health. And in this sense, they really help you to prevent a fall. So talk to your medical doctor, talk to your pharmacist so you know what interactions you might have as a result of those meds.
Okay, we learned from your pharmacy that even cold medications shouldn't be blended together. It can cause trouble. Diet. Diet's also important. If you don't eat regularly, you're going to get dizzy, you're going to get weak, and that can lead to muscle fatigue and fall as well.
This is common among older adults. You want to make sure you don't skip meals. You want to make sure you're getting food in regularly. That low blood glucose from not having enough sugar in your blood from food will cause potentially dizziness and fainting, and that can lead to a fall. So making sure you're getting good food in all the time.
And speaking of getting things in, alcohol consumption.
Alcohol consumption, obviously, if
you
want to do it in moderation, because it causes lack of judgment, it causes dizziness sometimes, it causes lack of balance. So all of those things, especially in a population where there's lack of strength, a little bit of weakness, makes you that much more potential or susceptible to a fall.
Okay, and bathroom slips, there are a lot of different devices out there. We're almost out of time, Peggy, but lots of different handles, assisting lifting devices. People should look into that if they're a little concerned. And you want to mention your website too. You've got all this information up there.
Yeah, www.drpeggymalone.com. Check it out. You can see what we talked about today.
Fantastic. Peggy, thank you very much for coming in and filling us in on all the information.
Thank you.